energy needed to heat and cool our homes, turn on our lights, power our vehicles, and drive our technology is growing in demand and in efficiency. Senator David Osmek, chair of the Senate Energy Committee, joins me in the studio as he prepares to bring his committee to Minnesota's communities. Senator, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
A recent Bloomberg analysis by Connor Sen was published in the Star Tribune just a few days ago, and he suggested that the energy and automotive industries will experience significant upheavals in the coming decade, much like internet-based retail and communications did in this last decade. How is technology changing in the energy sector? What's on the horizon?
Well, I think the transportation system is going to have some changes to it. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be towards battery powered. I think that there's other technologies that are on the horizon that will actually be more feasible and make more sense. Right now, if you drive your electric vehicle more than 300 miles, you're having to plug it in. I think hydrogen fuel cell technology is becoming more and more more likely in our future. We did go, and I probably referenced this a few times with our conversation today. We went to Idaho Falls to the laboratories that are there, and the hydrogen technology that's coming out could be a better way to go. And after all, hydrogen technology and that fuel cell, that output is water. So it's for the waste that comes out of the tailpipe of the vehicle. So I think that may be the direction. I'm looking forward to seeing what technology does come up on the horizon. We won't have nuclear powered trucks, but I think it is becoming more and more evident that technology is going to take over the sector. Is it going to be battery powers? I don't know.
Well, and then let's talk about your energy committee, because one of the items on the agenda for this upcoming legislative session is the Clean Energy First Act, a bill that was sponsored or continues to be sponsored by Senator David Senjum, which would make it tougher for power companies to add new fossil fuel energy sources. So in terms of the big energy picture, you've questioned the necessity of a policy like this and expressed concerns about reliability. So have your views changed as this act has evolved?
I don't think there's necessarily changed. I think what my views on this have been very consistent on is that we need to avoid mandates that the energy sector and the energy producers are already naturally going in this direction, that we needed to have common sense legislation that allows for this, but also creates off-ramps. Senator Senjum's, assuming that he is going to be chief sponsor, his draft proposal provides that we do focus on clean energy, because let's face it, I mean, we don't want to put more carbon into the environment than we have to. I acknowledge that. We do want cleaner air. However, how we get there is very important, and there are significant legislative off-ramps if we find out the reliability and affordability don't make sense to the consumer. Nobody, as much as people want clean energy, when you ask the next question, which is how much are you willing to pay for it, if you have to pay triple or quadruple energy bills, there's a lot of people who say, no, I don't. But this provides so that the energy producers have the ability to keep energy affordable, which keeps it energy affordable to you and your house as well as to businesses. So I haven't really changed on it. What I have found, though, is we have some commonality where we can do clean energy and make that the first priority, but also have the ability to keep rates affordable. That's the weight dynamic that is actually happening. But
you do agree that the energy sector is maybe in the beginning of a time of change?
Absolutely. At least in the United States it is. Now, keep in mind, folks, when you look at clean energy, I mean, the United States and Minnesota have been doing a good job of it. India, China, others are not nearly as proactive and forward-looking as we are. Only about, the numbers I've seen are 85% of the carbon that goes in the atmosphere isn't coming from us in the United States. So I think it's the right direction to go, and we're going to have those interim hearings very soon that are going to be able to take that testimony and talk through what's this going to look like for Minnesota.
Now, you mentioned off-ramps. Under the proposal, renewable energy sources consist of nuclear, which I have a question in a moment, solar, wind, hydropower, carbon sequestration, and municipal solid waste. Does this mean that a fossil fuel like natural gas may be used as long as carbon capture technology and storage is also utilized to prevent those greenhouse gas emissions?
The general answer is yes. However, we're not quite sure yet with carbon sequestration what that's going to look like. There's a lot of people that are very leery, and I disagree with them. They're very leery about carbon sequestration because that's where we're taking the carbon out of the atmosphere and then creating a market for that gas that actually helps us in North Dakota extract more oil from existing facilities. So some environmentalists don't like that because they just don't like oil. I have news for people. We're going to be an oil-based energy system, at least for transportation, for at least the next decade. We need to have other ways of approaching energy, and if that takes the carbon out of the atmosphere, isn't that a good thing? So we need to have an open mind about what we're doing here, and all of the above, as I've said, I think before on your own program, all of the above is important. Technology is going to provide us some additional directions to go, and I think we're going to find that out with carbon sequestration.
Back to the nuclear question, you've argued for several years now that the moratorium on new nuclear plants needs to be lifted. Considering that the Walz administration has a goal of 100% clean energy by 2050, is nuclear power an essential component, and what do we do with the waste?
It absolutely is it's going to have to be a component. As much as you might want to have all solar and all wind on the network, on the grid, you do have to have what's called baseload generation. Nuclear is carbon free. You may complain, well, to get the nuclear energy and to get the fuel, you have to exert carbon. Well, you do have to do that to create turbine blades and solar panels too. The short answer is there's technology that's on the horizon that Minnesota can be a leader in. Again, out in Idaho Falls, we saw modular and small nuclear technologies that are on the horizon about 5 to 7 years away. These won't be the traditional power plant structures that you've seen before. Matter of fact, some of them can be put on 100-acre pads. Well, if we go in that direction and deal with nuclear on an even keel, we can have a cleaner environment. A third of our energy right now that comes out of our lights is coming from those 3 nuclear reactors. So we're going to have to replace it, and replacing it with a more current nuclear technology makes sense, as well as they run on less fuels, which means less waste. Ideally, the folks in Washington, D.C. that are terribly dysfunctional should deal with the final solution on where do we store our nuclear waste. We shouldn't necessarily keep it on the pads, but it is safely on the pads right now, and if you go out to our 2 facilities, it's just there, it does nothing. Additional waste, we should have a national repository, but unfortunately that's not something that St. Paul is going to deal with.
Finally, I mentioned this in the introduction, the Energy and Utilities Finance and Policy Committee, your committee, will hold 2 meetings later this month, one in Rochester, one in Minnetrista. What are your expectations?
Well, first, we're going to be going through the draft proposal that Senator Senjum is likely to be carrying this next upcoming session. We're going to take input from energy producers, take it from environmental groups, take it from average citizens, and look at what we have for a common sense solution. Our solution, I think, and it's even been recognized by DFLers in the DFL House, that this might be a good compromise. I think that's the direction we've gone. I spent all interim, I've spent more time in this building in interim than I've ever spent. I took a lot of time to bring people together, bring stakeholders together, and get this done. So my expectation is we're going to hear from people, we're going to take that information back, consider additional amendments, and then my plan is on February 13th to have this bill in hearing here at the Capitol and pass it out of committee. Because I think the interim hearings are going to be the footwork and the legwork that we need to do, so we should be able to pass that very early in session and send it to the floor.
Senator David Osmek, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.